The Share Pickers Weekend Podcast with Justin, Paddy, Peter and Steve. The content of this podcast is not intended as investment advice. It is for information purposes only. People in this podcast may hold positions in the stocks they talk about. Do not buy anything based solely on a tip or recommendation. Please do your own research.
Welcome to the Weekend Podcast. I'm joined by, would you believe it, Paddy, Peter and Breakeven Steven. It's a full complement, guys. It's a royal flush.
Yay.
Hello.
Can you muster a bit more enthusiasm than that guy? God.
Steve didn't say anything.
Steve's already making a sandwich or something. What are you doing? What are you making this week, Steve? What's on the roster for a single man's meal?
I'm glad we're late recording this, because when you said we need to do this half hour later, I was literally just dishing up my tea.
Rice.
So
Dishing it up.
Just rice.
Yeah, well, let's be honest, that rice cooker, Steve, you've probably used it once in 6 months, haven't you?
I use it about 3 times a week.
Do you? For what? For drying your socks? Drying your undies?
I have a lot of rice dishes.
Are you in your car, Steve?
No.
Yeah, you just sound so tinny-ish, Steve. For a sound man.
He's bleeding the radiators in the back room. So he's...
yeah.
I've got my wireless pods on today. Let me just flip back to a cable.
That's why Steve sets this hour aside for DIY. Last week, I don't know if you heard, Pad, he was taking the leg off a coffee table. Sorry, I didn't realise you could hear me doing that. So just doing DIY in the background. Do you know, we call him Breakeven Steven, but I think we should call him Slick Trader Steve. And in fact, we should give him a gold medal because it's Olympics. And also, Steve traded out of Cora Gold at a profit, no less. All right.
What?
Yeah. Well, do you know what? Steve, as far as I'm aware, Steve had 17 stocks last week. And now he said on WhatsApp, I'm down to 7 now. And Paddy said, what? And I said, yeah. So what happened, Steve?
Sorry, I cut out then. I was just changing my headphones over. So what happened? So I got the gist of it. So what do you mean? Me selling stock?
Was it your cash pot, your SO4 cash pot? Was that the one that convinced you that having cash pots in resource stocks is not a good idea?
Yeah.
Well, no, I just had this idea that I could move the money elsewhere and make that money back from a bigger stock. So I don't know. It's a new thing I just thought of. So feel free to kind of like use that strategy.
Oh, right.
How's it working out for you?
Like a stock pot.
Yeah, not going great at the moment. It's all quite flat this week, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe that's why. When you started selling, Steve, recently, I mean, how long have you been selling for? Because the markets have been down for 2 months. Have you been selling for 2 months? Because I know you're moving a lot of money around there.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
So hang on,
but I do feel cleansed. So I must admit, I do feel like I've just now got a bit more of a solid portfolio rather than like checking it in the morning to see what's gone flying down. But that, because I saw Cora Gold this week, and I was saying to you on the WhatsApp group, I was minus 70, 80. I can't remember, it was something ridiculous. So minus 70, 80% down a couple of weeks ago, and I sold at a profit. So
that is dreadful.
What's happened with them? Have they found some gold?
Well, it's like resource companies are this. If you've got a no revenue resource company, right? This is what they'll do. I mean, you have to check. I mean, I'm not saying this is Cora Gold, and I quite like Bert, the guy in charge there. But if they're not generating any revenue, where's the money coming from? Okay, it's coming from the shareholders essentially, and so they will come up with. Oh, have you ever seen an RNS, right, where they've done some drilling and they said, didn't find anything, nothing found? Have you ever seen that? Have you ever seen any RNS? No, nothing there whatsoever, didn't find a single thing. Never any of that, is it? It's always like, excellent mineralization, deep veins, so many grams per ton, and you think, hang on, when you even think about it, it's grams per ton. But I mean, it's great. But I mean, so that's what they do, resource companies come out with these excellent drilling results. Oh, they're bumper. They're brilliant. So obviously people get excited by that. So it's a news-driven stock. It's not fundamentally driven by financials. So the share price goes up. And then normally they'll do a placing a couple of days after and, just to get a higher price, a bit of liquidity. And so I'm not saying that'll happen with Cora Gold. They may have money. I don't know how much they've got. But, of course, when would you want to raise money? When your share price is high, off the back of a bit of news? Or when it's low, off no news?
Do you know what? I've been here so many times, and I've it's
in
taken
your
a while
house?
to learn my lesson. Yeah.
I'm glad.
Where I've seen a stock which has been in the minus, kind of like fly back from good news, and it's usually a resource stock. And then the thing you think then is like, well, it's going to go higher, isn't it? And then you don't. It doesn't, does it? It just flops down back to where it was.
But that is the conundrum of the market, isn't it? Generally, I mean, pop and drop resource stocks. That's why I call them that, because I've had a bit of success with them, but I realise as you evolve a little bit, if you want to make sustainable wealth, you can't really do it because I think someone told me once, a resource guy who's been doing it for years and years, and he said something like less than 3% of resource companies actually get to make some money, produce anything from the ground and sell it. So it doesn't really happen. So either some of them are bought out, yes, but generally, they'll just move on slowly, quietly. Say, no, we couldn't get the funding or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, we had some cracking grades, though. Fair play. But I've never seen an RNS come out where, obviously it'll happen with oil and gas, because that's the difference there. Either you strike oil or you don't. You could, even those, though, they'll better. If you read a drill from a duster, which is where they didn't strike any oil, it's never very clear whether they have or not. They'll say, so we encountered hydrocarbons, and there's buried below somewhere, they'll say, but they're not financially viable, and then you realise. So if you're trying to read through RNS of a morning and you're wondering if your company, the oil company you invest in, has actually struck oil, just check out the share price. If it's 50% down, there's a good chance they haven't, because that's a good telltale sign. Yeah, but no, you can make a good bit of money trading resource stocks, but it's all about trading and timing, So the best thing to do is, if they are raising money, do it, get in after, but not directly after, because there'll be people, dirty traders selling for 10, 20% profit, and then it'll be a bit of churn. So, and then you're going to wait for news again. Then, so you rinse and repeat all the time. I know there are people listening to this thinking, "You turncoat, you used to be in resource stocks, and now you're dissing them." There are very good resource stocks out there.
Yeah.
Let's be honest though. Looking at your guys' experience in the markets there. Has it been, of course we hold some volatile stocks for the small caps, but have they been less volatile than resource stocks?
I don't think so necessarily. Thanks,
Pete.
Well, no, there's a fair bit of volatility, isn't there? But what you're probably not going to get is such massive swings. So, but they're still volatile.
Yeah. That is, microcaps though. If you want to earn good money, exactly. The volatility. Just like, do you know what? We've had 2 months. It's been really hard. I honestly think I prefer one big swift down sell off and then going on the bottom, and then coming back up. But the last 2 months in the small cap space, microcap space, been really hard, isn't it? Been grinding lower and lower, and it's generally all your portfolios in the red. It's bleeding for months. But what's good about microcap stocks is that they can rally a couple of days and they'll be back to where they were. Like even after a couple of months of dripping down, they can rally. Paddy, where have you been in for the last few weeks anyway?
New York, LA.
Yeah.
Croydon.
Seriously though.
Croydon.
You went to Croydon? Wow.
I went to Croydon. Yeah.
Croydon.
Yeah, I've been away.
What is Croydon? What is Croydon like?
Well, it's improving. Massively.
It's constantly, yeah. It's been improving for a long time. But is it quite scary?
It has been improving.
Is it quite a scary place to live, though, Croydon?
No, I wouldn't go to West Croydon, but
what happens in West Croydon?
West Croydon's West Croydon's a little bit lively, but there's not a huge amount there, so there's not really much reason to go. But the rest of the town in South Croydon is beautiful. Purley is quite nice. There is a large retail area which doesn't really have many shops in it, but if you like being shouted at about various religions as you walk down the high street, then it's perfect.
It's for you.
Yeah.
I love that. Those people, those people who shout at you religiously like that, right? How did they get their message? Did they get it just because most of them say they had a calling, did they, of some kind? That wasn't someone shouting at them, was it? They don't believe that. So why do they believe that works for other people?
I think it's part of their religion to try and convert people, isn't it? But it does make for a quite intense shopping experience.
Yeah.
Where you're browsing Holland Barrett with a geezer with a megaphone outside.
Yeah. I had one of the oddest experiences I had. We went to Capital, and I was living. I don't know where I was living. Not far from Capital at the time, so I just catch a bus.
Oh, that little weird flat. Yeah, I remember that. Who was that geezer you lived with? The spy. Was he a spy?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Strange money.
Anyway, so I stood waiting for the bus stop, and this guy, I felt someone really close to me, really, just invading my space. And turned around, and he was about 4 or 5 inches taller than me, quite a biggish guy, chunkyish. And I thought, he looks American, but he had a really wild eye. White guy, about 50, 45, 50, big chunky. He had a check sort of shirt on with a backpack on, odd sort of, like faded jeans like those Americans do, a bit baggy, and sort of walking boots, And he really stood really close to me. He said, "Hello, Blue." He called me Blue. I thought, what the hell? You're supposed to be Blue. And he's really close to me, and he said, "Have you ever thought about letting Jesus Christ in your life?" And he was so close to me, and I'm just waiting for the bus, actually.
Couldn't get away with that. That's get away with these days, would he?
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of was I'm just waiting for the bus, actually. I don't know when Jesus is coming, but will he be here before the number 49? But he's really off-putting. I said, "No, listen, man, I'm not really interested." But reading your face, I thought, does he think... Obviously, if you're mad, you don't know you're mad. That's why you're mad. But does he think that's the way to convert people? I just want to run, scary. Anyway. Is there room...
You engaged him in that conversation.
Yeah, I know.
You know what? I haven't.
Well, did you know a friend, Eggy, a friend of mine, when he years ago?
Oh, Eggy, yeah.
He used to have a house of his own. With his mother his mother and father got divorced, but his mother then found another guy in Newport. So at a young age, had a house all to himself. It was excellent, party house. And he used to smoke a lot of, hash. And he had one of these guys come down, Jehovah's Witnesses, and he was stoned, absolutely stoned. And they said, "Do you mind if we come in, and talk to you about Jehovah?" And he said, "No, coming in." And so he sat there, and he's rolling joints and smoking. They were talking to him for an hour and a half. In the end, the spiel just run out. They said, "Well, nice to meet you anyway." So, "Oh, nice, call again." They never called again. He just wore them out, just staring at them stoned. So they just had nothing else to say, he just didn't respond. But
maybe we should get Eggy to come to Croydon, just to make it calmer for everyone else.
Yeah. By the way, Pad, that retail centre you were talking about there, shopping centre, is very relevant. Here
we go. I can see where this is going. No escape rooms there, Pat.
There is an escape room. It's in a very weird place. I wouldn't go there.
That sounds perfect.
Yeah.
Right. So it's crying out for a new one, absolutely. No, I mean, like Croydon is one of those places where Escape Hunt will probably do very well, just because of the vast amount of empty shops.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you saw obviously you watched my webinar on Wednesday where I actually did a presentation on. Tell me what was on slide 47, Pete, if you could.
47. Oh, that was the year to date for Escape Hunt, wasn't it?
No. So they did a trading update, didn't they? For 6 months of June, and
right.
Do you know what? I'm going to do a video, release a video. But you can see that they are now trading way above where they were in 2019 already, and it's getting more busy every time. And the figures are amazing. I think it's doing better than we thought. Honestly, in fact, they all said ahead of expectations. Revenue is now topping what brokers are suggesting. So. There's demand there, they've got a good product, there's demand there. All they have to do is chuck them in some good, decent, high footfall retail outlets. And so what's the biggest, most busiest shopping centre in Croydon then? Brad?
Well, the problem is they were going to knock down the Whitfield? I can't remember what it's called.
Is it named after June?
No. It's called the Whit something. They were going to knock it down and put a Westfield there. That's why I'm getting confused. They were going to build a Westfield on the big shopping centre. Westfield then spent ages faffing around, and they've now decided they're not building any more shopping centres. So there's this huge shopping centre that's just basically empty because everyone moved out because they thought it was going to get knocked down, and everyone sort of moved over the road to Central, which is the weirdest shopping centre you've ever been to. It's like it's got this whole floor of empty food shops, and there's like one pretzel shop that's open with like a woman just vacantly looking into space trying to sell pretzels.
Sounds wonderful.
It sounds very inviting. So it's an ideal venue for a zombie film.
Well, I have to say, it sounds like Croydon itself is an escape room you really need to get out of.
It's a strange one because there is nothing there.
And you say, it's improving. You say it's improving, yeah?
It is improving
Slowly.
The thing that's made it improve is Box Park. So maybe put the Escape Hunt next to Box Park because that's they've got knife throwing, axe throwing. They've got a baseball pitching thing in there now, which is quite cool. An Escape Hunt near there would work very well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. I don't want to be accused of it being a Escape Hunt and Gfinity and Thing podcast, but there we are. All I'm saying is I'll release the video, but there's a trading update from Escape Hunt. Very well, considering they've only been open for 44 days doing that update, and already they're beating previous, like-for-like sales and EBITDA. They're beaten 2019 already. I think that's
they
very.
Talk about digital stuff yet?
No, because I said on the webinar, I said.
I did hear that.
I did say
I heard that.
Yeah, they're a small company, of course. They've got to focus on one thing at the start, and they are building out the digital, but their focus is on building out these targets. And while the time is right now, because like I said, there's a generally, commercial landlords are on their knees calling people, begging them to take some sites, so Escape Hunt are in the middle of doing that, getting some favourable sites and then up and running once they get a few of those. But they are up in that. But and if you note, they're aiming more towards corporate, which is quite. They advertise that on LinkedIn a lot more, and so on Twitter and stuff. They do the retail thing, but on LinkedIn it's all about team building, And in fact, one of the guys on Webzar said, well, we did one of those recently. It was very good, very enjoyable, and the company's going to do more of them. So, it's definitely a thing for that, isn't it? Team building, especially now.
I think it'd be useful to see what the returns are on those, though, if nothing else. Even if it's not a priority, it'd be quite interesting to find out how much money they make out of them.
It's very scalable and very high margins, like 80% EBITDA margins. The margins are massive on those because, like I said before, you don't need any rooms. Or you need one room and you need one sort of game master, and you can host 100 people on it. So that one did. I can't believe they did 367 people in a game, and that was done, the big company that was done with across 2 countries. So if they can do that with one guy or a couple of game masters, I think it's amazing. But I like that. So I've just driven down from. It may sound a bit different here because my mother and father in the background there, and my wife.
Hi, Chris.
Yeah, he won't hear.
Hi, Chris.
Yeah, no, I've got headphones on. He won't hear that.
Hi, Kerry.
My father's got bad hearing anyway, but they won't.
Kerry.
Hi, Chris. Hi, Kerry.
Yeah, no.
Are you actually sat in the same room with them?
What do you think? I'm just talking there. I'm sat in the same room. No. It's not a bedsit, Steve. He's got a couple of rooms in there.
So you've just gone down to say hello to them, or are you there for the weekend?
Every year we go to West Wales, a lovely hotel in West Wales called in Goobert, called the Cliff Hotel. And the view is stunning, right? But when you get the weather, it's phenomenal. Anywhere in the world compared to. But I was driving down today, really lashing rain. Windscreen wipers on heavy, driving. And if you're driving 60, you're like a maniac, So this is nice, isn't it? Driving down to sunny West Wales in this weather for a beach holiday for a couple of days. But so it sounded a bit odd. So I've I haven't prepared much, to be honest, but there we are.
Well, one stock that has had a good week was Steve's favourite, BioM, or BioMe.
Yeah.
I'm trying to train myself to call it biome. See, it's hard. It's hard. I've got into so used to calling it BioM.
I didn't know. Listen, I didn't know what it was on Twitter. I didn't know what what's his name is. I think it was Chris who said, you should because Steve's calling it BioMe, just. Have a theme tune call on me, bio me. I thought I didn't know what he meant until Steve said it last week again. Bio me.
Yeah.
It's biome technology, Steve. But you carry on with bio me. It's fine. That's right. It's getting back to recovery.
Steve, you do know that is a word in the English language, biome. So it's not really that ridiculous.
Oh, really?
Anyway.
What's it mean?
Oh, yeah. What's pizza?
On the spot. On the spot here, quickly.
Quickly, just I'll tell you what it is off the top of my head. The biome is
a distinct geographical unit consisting of a biological community that's formed in response to a shared regional climate.
If everyone knows
what does biome mean?
Yeah.
Nothing. Nothing at all.
It sounds like Boney M. That's the trouble.
So have they flogged their radio frequency business yet?
No, now is not the time. It's like the market, isn't it? Going back to that thing actually, Steve was saying up and down. Let's be honest, all of us, and Pad, you are affected, even though you try and pretend you're not panicking. But when the share prices are going down, we start to look for negative. We think, there's something wrong here, and you start panicking, and that's why it's very hard. I'm reading. Listen, it's a good book I'm listening to at the moment. What's it called? I get it up now somewhere, but it's good. The only problem is, I'm listening to it on audio, and the guy's voiceover is very annoying because he's
is it
like,
Welsh?
No, he is got this and he was a fantastic investor, a very oldie English sort of but dramatic. He's an actor, And I'm thinking, tone it down, fella. Really, just talk normally.
He's an out-of-work actor.
Yeah.
I'll get this podcast. I'll get this book.
And he said he managed to achieve compound annual growth of 23% over 25 years.
Yeah, I had to do a voiceover like that once, and it started like that. And by the end of it, I was so sick of the voice that it sort of turned into how I'm speaking now. And so when you listen back to this thing that was so long, like it just sounded like it was two different people. Like it's sort of
yeah, I get that. I get that. I'm listening, walking the dog, I listen to it, and sometimes they obviously change mic. It was a day later, or it sound changes. But yes, he's like this, and after a while, you get used to it. But and then you listen to it for a day. You get back in there. You say, just talk normally, you fool. Why is he like that? But I mean, I like to listen to audiobooks while I'm walking the dog. But but it's very good, and it's called. Let me just find where it is. It's a book.
Is it David Attenborough?
No, it's called. It's a bit like that, It's like, I don't know. It makes it. It's a new book, I think. But it's. In fact, it was. Right. It was published in April this year. But it sounds like it should be from the 19th century, It's like, and he was one of the most, underrated investors of all time. Right. And stop that, you fool! It's by William Green. It's called Richer, Wiser, Happier: How the World's Greatest Investors Win in Markets and Life. They're all got sort of. It's nice because they've all got different sort of ways of investing, but they've all done very, very well. And in fact, most of them done well because they can sit in their hands and do nothing. Wait for a crash and then really go big, A couple of them done that, and they know, like, for example, time to sell. The markets are too bubbly or whatever that, they won't chase the money at all. They sit there, and a couple of them got it wrong. In fact, a couple of them have missed out on big tech companies, but they've obviously missed. They didn't jump in the .com, and in fact, this one guy who's a cracking fund manager. Up until I think it was the .com. I don't know which investor it was. Up until the .com crash, he was doing fantastically for his fund. He's one of the best fund managers voted, and all of a sudden, the .com come along, and his stocks. And he's a value investor. These companies are undervalued, that generating good cash flow but undervalued. He's buying this. They started underperforming compared to everything else, like the tech companies and .com companies. And so he was doing 2% for the year, and these companies, the average tech companies, .coms, were doing 100%. And so all these people who'd loved him for years are saying, we're missing out. And they sacked him basically after 3 years of underperformance compared to the benchmark. They sacked him, and he got hired by another fund, and he stuck to his knitting there. And literally 3 days after he was hired, I think it was 2-3 days or a week, the .com bubble popped, and his value stock started rocketing. And that old company that sacked him said, we made a big mistake there. But it's about this, and it's all about them. And it said the markets are 99%, psychological. Absolutely, you can. Buffett, you can read any of Buffett's books, the autobiographies on him, the biographies, and it'll tell you exactly how he does it. But it's about patience and discipline. That's what you can't teach. You can't teach that. And having that sort of, not worrying and trusting in your research and sticking with it. That's what you can't teach. So you can. It's like anything, isn't it? You can give someone the theory, but can they actually do it? Can they, have they got the mental capability to set up to do it? And let's be honest. I mean, who doesn't? It takes a different. In fact, one of the first ones they talked about was, who was the first one? He was a very odd guy, but he literally didn't look at any of the press or anything at all. He decidedly switched off from. He lived on an island, pretty much. In one of the Caribbean islands, and literally.
So he lived in Ireland. He was a. I don't know. I can't work out who this is.
No. He lived on I think in the Caribbean for a while, and right. Templeton, Sir John Templeton, and he literally used to get where he used to live. He used to get papers a day late. So he said because to switch off and just disconnect from the markets is very good. Don't believe it. And even now, it's worse with social media, isn't it? And 24 hours, news channels and all that stuff. It's worse. So. Sometimes you just got to stick with it, and say. So that's when Steve said there with the resource stocks, when it's going high, you think it's going higher. That's why people don't sell at the top and buy at the bottom. When it's going lower, people think it's going lower, so they start selling. So that's the thing, isn't it? It's all about the mind, like anything, isn't it? If you watch the Olympics, it's all about the mind, isn't it? A lot of it, obviously, you got physical abilities, but you don't realise how big, mental the game is. How big a part it plays, But
in order to make advantage of that, we'd have to sell at some point, wouldn't we?
Yeah. Well, some of them. I mean, like Buffett, for example, doesn't particularly sell that much. But he also has a cash buffer, Now he does. I mean, obviously, because
cash Buffett.
Yeah, cash Buffett, and
That's it.
And he'll just snap up, things when people are scared. Like
the cash to go into his cash Buffett, he must have sold something at some point.
Yeah, well, he gets dividends as well, doesn't he? So that's and when you earning, when you have stakes like he has, you get big dividends paid in cash to him. So, but during .com crash, didn't he invest when at the height of fear, he chucked like $5 billion into one of the banks, didn't he? So and he did very well off that. Yeah, he did very well off that. So
bringing it back to Pad's question about BioM.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
That was it. Yeah, the radio frequency thing business that you were saying. He was asking whether they're time to hive it off, but probably not because it's.
You're selling.
I don't think they should sell it because they shouldn't. Because they have to sell it, but it seems a very weird combination, isn't it? Coffee and frequencies.
Yeah, no, it's not coffee and frequencies. Yeah, but it's not. It's
not quite that.
So the RF technology, their furnace, they sell these furnaces that create fibre optics, cables and all that. But that's going to be a very hot market again. It just collapsed during COVID. So that company, if you go back and check out, it was doing quite well, and it was turning over good. That was the sort of that was where the cash was coming from. But it's just collapsed, so it'll recover. And they've said recently, they're going to. What do they say? It is recovering already. They're getting inquiries and contractual talks happening, so it's going to recover. And that's back. I think they will spin it off, but now is not the time to spin it off. Oh no, you hold on to that. You got to sell at the right time, isn't it? It's like houses, really.
The price movement this week on let's call it properly Biome has been interesting because it's off the back of the news last week where it did see a rise, but then that's kind of been consolidated this week by further rises. Not based on anything, not I'm aware of, any other news or anything. It's just an interesting, it's an example of a small cap stock, really, isn't it? That a bit of a wave momentum there that it seems to be carrying back up to. I mean, maybe it's your video that you released on Sunday, obviously.
Maybe, yeah.
But it's nice to see it heading up back towards £5.
It's nice to be back in profit for me.
Oh yeah, I did see it. I released a video, didn't I? So five potential five baggers. Yeah, that's it. And Biome was obviously alphabetical, so it was first on that list. It's still on the radar. Not a huge amount of people know about it. But it's probably the cheapest stock I own. I mean, in fact, saying that, close to 2 times sales. But if you think about it, right, people sell on news or buy on news.
Yeah.
And generally, if someone wants to get out, for example, Stewie is still selling Escape Hunt. I'm convinced of it.
How does he still own any?
No, because he had 2.2 million shares on the 26th of April, right? So that was 3%. So he doesn't have to notify below that. So he can sell, and he sells in chunks of 10,000 shares. So what is that? $3,000. If he can get the much you can get a quote for, he'll sell. Now, if it's not a call holding of his, he won't keep an eye on it too much, but he'll probably get the news when news comes out. So, right, now he can sell. So they had that trading update. So
why is he doing this? I don't understand.
No,
to wind up Justin.
Yeah.
No, I think he's investing in another company, isn't he? So I think he thinks.
But didn't he buy in the placing not long ago? So why did he buy into that when he's trying to sell out of it anyway?
Well, it's lower down. He bought lower down, didn't he? The placing.
Yeah. No. But the last placing was they did an acquisition placing, didn't they? So they did an acquisition of the French and Belgian resort thing. So they did. It wasn't much discount, but maybe just thought, I'll take.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but have you noticed that everybody? And shares are all about just supply and demand. And if someone asked me this, why does that happen? Why are good news and it goes down? I said, well, because it's essentially about supply and demand, isn't it? Shares. It's like if you have Gfinity is annoying. So Gfinity, they've got options and they've got warrants. Options are for for employees, pretty much. Now, if you're an ex-employee and the share price is going down in the company, why would you? And you're not attached to that company anymore. Why would you hold shares in it? You don't know what the management's doing. All you see the share price is going down. So you'd sell when you can. So you've got that drip, drip, drip all the time of that supply pressure. Is that the supply is overwhelming demand. So, say on the average daily volume of a stock, say a stock turns over 1 million shares, and say 60% is sells because you've got drip feed all the time and 40% in buys. And after a while, the market makers are going to have to find people who want to buy that stock, so just reduce the price, and hopefully people will pick up a bargain. So that's how they get liquidity in the market. So reduce the price, get buyers. After a while, though, those sellers will dry up, and that's why you see sometimes a big bounce, like it happened with Escapement. They went down that one day at 12% because I think Stewie's trying to get as much out as he could. Just overwhelming, so the supply was overwhelming demand, and then all of a sudden it stops, and then so the demand's there, that 40% that was there then becomes 100% of buy because the 60% is gone.
He's a smart guy, right? Surely he must have remembered that a couple of months ago it was 50p. So if he just stopped selling for a little bit, he would be able to sell more at a higher price.
Yeah, but he's accumulating in another company, and you know what's right. Once you get obsessed with one company, you don't care about the other company, do you? You think, right, no, I'm all in this company. So once you lose favour, I've done
What's the other company?
BioMe.
No, it's called Get Tech company. It's in a nice space, nice area, but I don't think it's an Escapement. But he made lots of money early on with Escapement, didn't he? I mean, literally a bit of money. And he piloted the placing and helped out there, so he's made a lot of money and he's probably moved on. But
why doesn't everyone just buy the 5 stocks we're in?
Yeah.
and we'll push the price up to astronomical levels and then sell.
Yeah. No, the thing is, I've said on the webinar, people said, aren't you going to miss jumping in and out, trading a little bit? I said, no, because do you know what, I genuinely, and I said this, I genuinely want to hold these 5 stocks as long as the story doesn't change, for as long as I can, because I see them going up in value multiples. Now, if you look at the average return, even Buffett, I mean, it's over a long time, even Buffett has returned about 23% compound annual growth over the last 50 years, which is amazing. So if you chuck that in a calculator, that's it's a lot of money. But I believe these companies can do more than that. Not over 50 years, of course, but I mean, it's just what kind of gain are you going to be happy with? So why jump around? If you think there's good gain here, why go elsewhere? Why jump around?
I think what I'm seeing is that I'm not going to be doing too much of that jumping around with it, but it is noticing when there's weakness. And so Gfinity, looking at that now, looking at the RSI, looking at the pricing, going, well, actually I'm going to, it's getting very tempted to put more in there. I mean, I de-risked to much higher. It's come down. To me, the story's only getting better. And it's one of those stocks that in, I don't know, a few months' time, it will be 5p, 6p, 7p, and it will be great. I'm happy I bought some extra down below 4p. So just buying more of the stocks we have, but when the price is in a good position.
Yeah. I'm hoping this Gfinity comes up with some... The trouble is, with Gfinity, they haven't had any news for a while, So you've got these warrants, people are just cashing in their warrants or options, it's an overhang of just, it's an oversupply of stock. And so literally, it's just drip feeding the market all the time. So it's literally just crawling lower and lower. Have a decent bit of news, and the demand will outstrip the supply for a while, and it'll bounce maybe, and
a stock like that, and go back to our conversation earlier about resource stocks, is, what's the worst that could happen to Gfinity? Why would it suddenly plummet? Like, obviously, unexpected things happen all the time. I do know, and we've seen... Well, all sorts, not just resource stocks, all sorts of things all sorts of companies have bad news. But, I mean, you think it through, Gfinity, what could be catastrophically bad for that company that will suddenly see a 50%, drop in price? I honestly, famous last words, but I can't think of it. So you feel fairly happy kind of going and putting more in, because the price is weakened on the warrants issue, but also lack of news.
Yeah, it is lack of news. I mean, I think that if you look at their brokers note, they're projecting 43% compound annual growth over the next 5 years. What
are your thoughts on my question there? What is the worst that could happen?
The worst could happen. It can be a fraud.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
That's what I mean. But it's not like a mining company that doesn't find gold.
No, that was a joke. What I'm saying is that does not that does not happen very often.
Should be clear.
That's what I'm saying is that's why I only hold 5 stocks. So I looked at the risk potential of 5 stocks and the reward potential of 5 stocks, and I said I look at that diversification chart, which I'll try and get up there. But if one company dropped by 50%, which doesn't happen very often, What's that? Divided by 5. That's a 10% drop in your
There you go.
portfolio. You know, so can you handle that? That doesn't happen very often. You know, a 50% drop in stocks that are revenue generating, that have cash, that are not oil or gas stocks or anything like that, or resource companies. You know, it doesn't happen. You may get a 20%. In fact, Biome did drop by like 23%, bounced back though on that profit warning. But now, if you look at the chart, it's pretty much climbing back to where it was. So, you know, if you'd held on, trouble is people did sell there. It's like, if you look at the chart there, that day, right, it was up, it opened up at, in fact, the day before, it was at 4, it closed at 480, okay? And then that day, it dropped, it went down 24%. It did touch, was the low there? It touched 314 from 480. And there were people selling massive amounts of sells there. Now, that there, why would you do that? Read the RNS, it's a delay. It's not like they've lost business, it's just a delay. And that was none of their fault. It was global shipping problems, and the person they're supplying to, some guy in logistics there, had messed up, that's all. They said it's going to be delayed, all it's doing is pushing out our revenue, it's not cancelling the revenue. So, and now we're back to 446 from that 480.
Yeah,
so
that day when it dropped was the day I bought in for the first time. Thanks very much. Thank you very much. Good night.
Did you plan that? Did you say, Paul?
Exactly.
Paul, CEO, Paul.
Exactly.
Just to put a little delay in it. I haven't got in. I haven't got the right level. I didn't get in. Just to get saying bye. I ignored him. I know I should have listened to him, as always. He's always right. I know that, Paul.
No.
Do me a favour. Just say it's delay on the contract. I'll get in, big chunk. I'm a sticky holder, you know. Yeah. That's what all the girls call me, a sticky holder.
I'm well known for my sticky holding.
Oh, a sticky holder, Pete. Here he comes. Yeah. But no, it's you know, having impulsive reaction to that is a thing. But it's but Steve.
Quite nice to have some excitement at some stage, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. What do you mean? Read the businesses. they're these exciting businesses. You got, you know, digital publishing and esports. You got, you know, escape rooms. You got plastics. What else we got there? You know, Truefin.
Cora Gold's drilling results. That was fantastic.
Drilling results. Oh, I can't wait for the drilling results. They got 10 grams per ton of gold. Ooh, 10 grams. Every ton is 10 grams in there. that is nuts, really, isn't it? You realise how much dirt they have to shift to get some gold, you know?
Yeah.
All right, let's look at it. No, they came up with some good grades there. These are high grades, right? And this is what they are. There we are. 15 grams. They got 49 metres at... So they've got a section of mineralisation there. There's 49 metres width, where in that 49 metres there were 15.55 grams. Grams, and that's good. And that's the headline. Per tonne of gold. That's a lot of... a tonne is a lot. It's like a small car, isn't it? And
that's quite a lot in a I don't know. What sort of size chunks are they coming out in?
How much is a gram? A gram is like a box of matches, isn't it?
Well, I mean, we know how much a gram is. Like,
but that's compared to a car. That's like, in fact, like a box of matches is probably a 20 grams.
A bag of sand is a tonne normally, maybe a little bit less. So, 15 grams in that, that's, you know...
And that is good. Normally, you're talking about, you know...
Is that just as there is gold, or is that as ore?
That's the ore... well, exactly, that's the bit that you have to then refine that and mine it down and all that stuff, so, I don't know, but I just think that is... I mean, normally they're talking about, you know, it's viable at sort of 5 grams per tonne.
At least like 5 sovereign rings, isn't it?
5 grams? No, they take a long time to sovereign ring out of 5 grams. The sovereign's is solid gold, isn't they? They're classy there. They come back in now. It's amazing. My kids are going to have haircuts, and the fashions now are. Do you know what the fashion is now for kids now?
No.
Literally perms on the top of your head, right?
Oh yeah.
Or mullets. Those the shaving your head round. So you shave your head all the way around and get a perm on top, or a mullet, and that's the fashion. I'm not thinking. Are you kidding? That was naff when I was a kid. My friend said to me, "Oh, Dad, you haven't a clue. You haven't got a clue." I said, "No, maybe I haven't, because that was ridiculous when I was a kid." Lola,
didn't you have it when you were like 35?
My dog Lola's in here. She's dragging she's got the thing, the cable caught on it. Right, out. Shut the door. Shut the door. She's come back in.
Bye, Lola.
Bye, Lola.
I think you need a new door. If the dog can open the door.
question door. Yeah, but So how did we get onto that? Anyway,
I don't know. I'm not sure. Right.
So here's a question for you, actually.
Steve, we've only been going for like how many minutes? 40 minutes. 40. Steve, you got a question? Go on, Steve.
All right, spread them out. It's just come to mind. I was thinking of it. So obviously, I've lost all my cash pots now by selling all my.
Hang on. Steve's spreading the questions out. The last question was last week, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was a big spread out. Go on.
But so I know a lot of you, well, I think you did anyway, sold out of your Vanguard fund. So I've been continuing to put into that. So I've got quite a nice little percentage in my Vanguard. Is that money best being used somewhere else?
Yes.
Well, that is a good question.
Well, do you know what, Steve? It depends. Depends on whether you listen to when we say we're all selling out to something, or whether or not. If you just hold on to it and they go down by 60%, I'd keep everything in your Vanguard. Yeah. But if you actually listen to what we're saysaying, so have you got what's your return?
I will sell whenever you tell me to. Now I've learned my lesson.
Yeah, you can, so yeah,
that's not good investing. You shouldn't follow anybody in or out of stocks.
No, but it's not. No, Steve. Listen, Steve makes. What I like about Steve, right? He doesn't pretend.
What is it? What do you like about me?
I like his cute butt. No. What I like about Steve, right, is that he doesn't pretend to do research. You know, there are plenty of people out there.
Honest Steve.
There are plenty of people out there who are following stocks and saying, "Yeah, no, I'm in that. It's good. The ship price goes down. They start blaming me. Well, hang on a sec. I always say do your own research. Steve makes no bones about that, right? He won't do research. All he wants to know is a ticker, okay, and a bit about the story, just for interest's sake, to tell his mates maybe he knows something about it. But if it goes down, he doesn't blame me either. He doesn't care, so he's fine. So if you follow someone, fine. But you don't blame them when it goes wrong, because that's where you have to do your own research. You know, so I don't mind people blindly following, but accept that when it goes down, it's not their fault, it's your fault. You bought. It's your money. You know, I haven't got the password to your stockbroking account. I don't say, right, I'm forcing you to buy this.
Yeah, well, it's just yeah. So I obviously my Vanguard's just slowly going up. But obviously, as Pete was saying, a thing like Gfinity gone down, I'm thinking I could easily put some of that money in there now and almost make a quick turnaround. No, not that I would put it in and take it out again, but I'm like, I can make a lot more money with some of these. Like, ideally, I should have put a bit more into Escape Hunt when it had its 28p the other week. But you know,
yeah. But, no, so with Vanguard, so for example, in percentage terms, I mean, how much have you got in your Vanguard? For your fund?
Is it about 11-12%?
I don't know. You said, is it about that? I don't know. I'm asking you.
It's about 11-12%. I can't remember exactly now.
And are you up in that? How are you buying that? Is it a monthly basis or what?
No, I've just got an amount I want to put into it each year. So I split it into 2 payments. So I pay it and I just wait for days when it kind of has a bit of a down day, and I chuck in half of it and then wait for another down day and the other half in probably second part of the year. Yeah,
no, I'd say, Steve, honestly, that's almost a retirement fund. If everything else goes wrong, you've got that. But if you're more confident, then, like I said, you can earn. I'm looking at it right now. Someone asked me about this. The Vanguard fund is amazing, right? The 100% equity fund. It basically covers all the world. So if you look at what it covers, it's like 19.7% is the US equity index fund, and that's obviously the equity in the US. It's got world excluding UK equity, so that's another 19%, and then it's got the US shares in the UK 90%. So it's all around, and the rest of it's pretty much all around the world. So so I said to someone said, why not go in a microcap fund because they're doing better? And I said, well, because I invest in microcaps. So if I was going to do a fund, I would do something not microcaps, you know, so a bit more stability to the portfolio. But that kind of fund there is one of the kind of funds you'd have cash with, and then when you see on the headlines, you know, BBC News and all that saying the stock market has lost $6 trillion in 7 seconds.
Well, that'll go down as well, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but then what you do then, because you know it'll bounce back. Listen, we've gone through world wars, everything else. Yeah. In fact, some of these guys in that book made huge amounts of money after the world wars because it was, you know, going to hell and a handcart. Everything was when they started investing. So that's the time. Give it about a week after you see those headlines on the main news. Then check into the Vanguard fund because then you'll outperform. You know, so let's look at the performance on that. So over accumulation. Vanguard, 1 month, price range, past performance. So, well, from the 1st of August to 31st of July, it's done 26%. That's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
It did minus 4.3%. The 1st of August 19 to 2020. Cumulative though, over the 10-year period is 182%. So that's a very well diversified. That's why I say to people, if you're going to diversify, don't buy loads and loads of stocks. You've already got to have conviction on 5-6 stocks, and then if you want diversification, get a fund like that, because that's proper diversification. You're buying about 1,500 stocks there in one go. And that then could be the backbone to your portfolio, and it's a bit more stable, and it's invested in bigger companies around the world, and then obviously dabbling micro caps as well. But the charges are very low. Jack Bogle, phenomenal. Do you know the story of Jack Bogle, Steve?
Did he climb a mountain?
Well, I don't know if he did, but he's not famous for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
He invented the bogle.
Is he related to Ben Fogle?
The Bogle. Yeah, Ben Bogle. It's Ben Fogle. Jack Bogle. Yeah, the Bogle. Yeah. He did the Bogle. No, Jack Bogle, right, he was in Wall Street. He was a fund manager. And he thought, this is a rip-off. These guys are basically not beating the market, or they're very nearly beating the market, these fund managers, but charging people to do it. And they're basically following the index, these managers, and they're charging you, and it's a rip-off. So he's come up with this. He invented basically the tracker fund. So it's a fund that's passively managed. You don't do anything to it. You just track an index. And so the S&P, and he said to them, right, I bet my new fund now will beat you over a long term. And Wall Street managers, and he became the enemy of Wall Street. He said, what are you doing? Sell me your money, you fool. He said, I don't care. I'm going to set up a proper, well-priced fund that doesn't overcharge and can perform very well. They said, you won't beat us anyway because we're stock pickers, we're professionals. And he smashed them. His index fund smashed him. And so that's what he became famous for. He died about, 2 years ago, I think. But, but really honest man has made money, a huge amount of money. In fact, did you see today or yesterday, he is paying $1,000 they are for anyone to get vaccinated before, I think, before October. They'll pay every employee they've got $1,000 to get vaccinated.
$100.
$1,000.
$1,000.
100,000. Yeah, 100,000. But no, so it's
$100,000 to get vaccinated. That's crazy. What have you got done on the first day?
I'm going to join. Just join. So can I get? Yeah. No, so $1,000 they're paying. But no, it's very it's a fair, good performing fund, well diversified. But there's loads of different funds there. But yeah. So Steve, in answer to your question, is this right? If you want more reward, yes, but it's going to be more risky.
Yeah.
And I don't know what you've got in your retirement.
I was kind of jumping to and forth to try to decide. And actually, I'm only 4% in on Trufin. All the others are the big five. I'm kind of probably in a nice percentage in. So I was thinking about maybe just taking a bit of the Vanguard to top up that one, just so I'm kind of even Stevens on all my five then.
Yeah.
Even Steven.
I always think I think of businesses, not share prices. And I honestly think these businesses I'm invested in, these 5 businesses, will improve. And so there'll be plenty of time. There'll be ups and downs. The market will always give you opportunity, So I'd keep it there for a while. And then there's always going to be a generic sell-off, sometime, always. And so maybe, if you're doing well in the Vanguard and think, oh, hang on, I wouldn't mind putting some other stocks drop, no reason, put into that. But it's safe and steady. It's decent return, isn't it? Really?
Maybe I'll just sit on it. As you said, if any of them just drop for sellers' reasons, or maybe I might have a little dabble.
How many stocks you got now?
Was it 7?
Is that including the Vanguard?
No, so 8 including the Vanguard.
So why don't you put 20% into each?
That's an idea.
Yeah, what stops you doing that, Steve?
Steve, do 20% in each, so there's 8.
That doesn't work.
What? Try it.
I know. Just give it a go, Steve. Why doesn't it work? Tell Harry and Larry, just insist. Say, Harry, I want 20% in each. What's wrong with you? Yeah.
I was just thinking, are you thinking about a different percentage that I know of?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, the Greek percentage. Yeah,
a whole different percentage system.
Give Harry and Larry a call in the morning.
Yeah.
But the national stock exchange.
No, we'll convince him.
I've got 8 stocks. I'd like to put 20% of my portfolio in each, please.
Yeah.
I can't seem to do it online, so can you do it manually?
Yeah. So no, Steve, it's up to you. So risk and reward. I tried to. I got very little cash, but I tried to buy some Trufin the other day, and I couldn't buy any. I couldn't buy any at all.
It's been going up, hasn't it? So I wouldn't want to buy it because it went up by like 7% the other day. So I was like, I'll wait for it to pull back a bit if it does. And if it doesn't,
The time do you know what? Is that announcement they had, that extension of the Lloyd's trial, was very much similar to what Biome had with that delay. It dropped off on that. That's the time to buy. See, the time to buy is when people are selling. That's it. When they're selling, I'm buying. You're selling, I'm buying. What are you selling? I don't know. Well, I'll buy it.
How quickly can you sell the Vanguard when it's not instant, is it? I know it takes a day or two to buy.
It's not exchange traded funds. So some days it'll take like 2 days.
Yeah, so that's the problem though. So it could drop and then.
No, but it doesn't. It doesn't move like that. It's not a huge. Like I said, because it's a big fund that holds lots of stocks. It doesn't. It's not a microcap stock. It doesn't move a lot. So you won't.
No, I'm not about the Vanguard. I meant, say for example, Trufin had a drop. To get money out of my Vanguard, I had to wait 2 days. And by the time that may's come out, they could have recovered. So
not like those cash pots you used to have that you could just sell.
Exactly.
Yeah, they were liquid. Those ones. Yeah, very liquid. And now Steve can't even sell EUZ. Can you not sell that?
No, to be honest with you, actually, it was probably a bit of a blessing because it will have. It's had a couple of them over the last 2 years where it just rallies by 70%. So I'll just wait for another one of those and then I'll get out.
You know what they're going to do, didn't you? They'll come out with some cracking drill results.
We
got some.
They're going to find diamonds at some stage.
Yeah, they got excellent grade. They're looking for zinc, but we found diamonds as well. Where do you find them? We find them next door in someone's house. But no, but
they might find truffles or something.
Yeah, in fact,
they're worth quite a bit of money.
Yeah, if you look at, but they'll come out with something because they need money. They've got to get some liquidity. Because essentially, why should people invest if they're investing lower now than they did last time? They've got to encourage the markets. So in fact, they did have a little rally on the 15th of March this year. They went up 29%. Steve, they went from 29% up one day. They were at 9.38 pence. They've obviously consolidated the shares. They were at 9.3 pence or 9 pence, and they went up to 15 pence.
I know. I should have sold then, but
it's like a 50%.
It's that classic. It starts going up, and you think, well, look, it might go to break-even point, and then I can sell out. But it didn't, did it? So next little rally, I will be selling, and hopefully they'll let me sell it at that point.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's enough. But I mean, Steve, you got to think about the chicken story. It's not a very good analogy, but when you try and catch chickens in a box, and one goes in, you put feed under the little crate there. You got a little crate with a stick. The stick is holding the crate up. You put some feed in there, and one chicken comes in, doing your mate. So, quick, pull the stick. The stick's obviously attached to the rope. Pull the stick, we got a chicken. No, look, there's another one coming. Another one comes in. Oh, look, brilliant. Pull the stick, now we got 2 chickens. No, look, another one's coming. And then one comes in, and then one goes out. Oh, you should have pulled the stick. We had 3 in there then. So wait, they'll come back in. And then another chicken walks out. Oh, we had 3 chickens, now we had 2. We had 1 chicken. Wait, they'll come back in. And then the final chicken leaves. Oh, boulder dash.
Right.
So
which one was the Vanguard fund?
Well, what I'm saying is you have to know how many chickens you're happy with. So Steve,
okay.
you may not get back to break even, but what you got to think about is, like I said on the webinar yesterday, sell a few donkeys to buy a thoroughbred. Those donkeys are knackered. They're never going to race in a good race. They're never going to win any money for you ever. Right? You may have them out on Barry Beach for a couple of things, but in the end of the day, do you want to?
No, I've learned my lesson. Don't worry. I'm going to wait for the chicken to have an affair and a little threesome or something, and then I'll sell out.
Okay, all right.
But,
so you twisted that analogy slightly, but yeah.
Okay, Steve.
Marvellous. By the way, I'll just finish on the any TV recommendations apart from the Olympics. By the way, I did a Twitter poll saying 150 days left for 2021. For the remainder of the year, do you feel bullish or bearish? And what do you think the percentages would be? Pad, people felt bullish.
I still don't know what they mean. Bullish.
What percentage?
What percentage?
78%.
Oh, right. What was the question?
I did a poll on Twitter. This is a Twitter poll.
Yeah.
Thanks
Oh,
for
right.
thanks
So
for
which percentage were bullish?
Yeah.
20%.
20% bullish. Steve said 78%. Pete's obviously now looking it up on Twitter.
No, I'm not actually. I would say it was more like 60 or 70%.
Really?
Steve is the closest. It was 80.2% bullish, 19.8% bearish. Sometimes that's a contrarian.
To be fair, it was at 78 when I put my vote in. That's why.
There we go.
There we are. And by the way, 2 months, boys, Plarium will know if they got approval from the FDA.
Oh, mate.
Will it be a party or a?
I just need that to happen.
Or a sell-off.
That, honestly, I can't. It's a huge potential, that company. I did send my video, actually. I'll tell you what Richard said. I sent my video to Richard, the CEO of Polarian, and I said, potential 5 baggers. In fact, that is potential 100 bagger, because it's insane. And Richard said something like, we are working very hard to make your mission a real... No, we are making a mission... I'll find what he said.
That was a great build-up, and then it fell apart.
Right, we can just edit this together later.
Yeah. Here we go. Right.
Oh yeah, and he said, he said, on a mission to make you right. So because I pointed out it could be, because that I didn't realise that broken note that thing was going to be, it's a massive upside anyway. That broken note is only based on 2% penetration of the US market. So I just said, well, let's roll that out 2% globally, and that's very low anyway. If they do that, that's probably a 60 bagger. And Richard from Polarian said, and he's quite conservative. He said they see polarizers in all hospitals, and I think now you're right. Actually, it's the best tech. Why wouldn't you have it in all hospitals? So 2% globally would be 60 bagger at least, and and let's be honest, it should be in at least 10% of hospitals around the world. Marvellous. Anything else, boys?
Oh, that's plenty, isn't it?
That's enough.
Yeah, it's plenty, yeah. But before we go, it's always nice to give a recommendation. I recommend that book. It's worth listening to, apart from don't get the audio. Read if you can, because that guy, and he's one of the best investors they've ever seen in their lives.
I'm going to get the book and read it like that.
Yeah.
I watched the morning show on Apple TV. That's very good.
Yeah, that is good.
Is it?
Surprisingly good. I wasn't expecting it to be good.
It's good.
I'm looking forward to Series 2, which comes out later this year. What else did I watch on the plane? Ted Lasso was good.
Who?
Well, Ted Lasso.
Who's that?
It is Jason Sudeikis, who's playing an American who comes over to manage a British football team. It's a little bit clunky, but it's still good fun, and it's got a great heart.
Is it a comedy series? Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
That's comedy. Okay. I see it now. Yes. All right. Steve, go carry on, Paddy. Oh, you've been watching on the plane, haven't you? So you have been to New York and Los Angeles. And
yeah, lots of planes. What else did I watch?
I know it was quite funny when you said they'd been in New York, Los Angeles, and Croydon. Oh, what's Croydon like?
Yeah.
Steve, anything?
No, nothing this week.
For heaven's sake.
Have you anything at all, Steve?
I can't be bothered anymore.
To watch TV.
That's the running gag gone. Yeah. In fact, Pat, while you were here, we had a running gag going. Every week, right. Steve would recommend Jeremy Clarkson, and we'd say, "Oh, right."
I think it's been going so long. He was on it last time we did it.
I watched a bit of that this week. The one with the potato shop.
Pete's repeat. I know, Pete, you're a comedy thing of repeating things on WhatsApp. But were you honestly repeating what I said about that show, or you forgot what I said about it?
What about Gerald?
Yeah, Gerald. He's unbelievable. He's like a character from the past show, isn't he?
Yeah, amazing.
And Jeremy Clarkson, I like it. Jeremy Clarkson doesn't play down in the door. He just almost bare. He's almost in a plain face, no expression.
Yeah.
What Gerald's saying is very hard to understand, isn't it?
Yeah.
What are you doing? He said, "Oh, listen, can't do it. Come there."
Yeah.
And Jeremy Clarkson smiling and nodding. Yeah.
But Clarkson did show his sort of softer side, because when he was ill, then he took him like food parcel round, didn't he, or whatever. But all jokes aside, I actually watched that now. It is quite a good series. I was quite it was quite entertaining. And Caleb and Gerald sort of make it, don't they? But,
they do.
Yeah.
He's got lovely patio doors as well, hasn't he?
Yes.
That barn
really
bit.
Nice.
Yeah, really
nice.
nice.
He's done so well with his patio doors.
Yeah. That's nice. Right, I'm going to West Wales to get soaking wet on the beach and pretend.
You're already in West Wales?
No, I'm in Southeast Wales. We're driving to.
Oh, you're in Blackwood.
Yeah, we're south. But
you going to West Wales tonight?
No, tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Oh, right, yeah. It's probably best.
Okay.
All right, lads. So last weekend, then. All right.
Yeah. Bye.
Enjoy. Bye.
Enjoy. Bye.
The Share Pickers Weekend Podcast with Justin, Paddy, Peter and Steve. The content of this podcast is not intended as investment advice. It is for information purposes only. People in this podcast may hold positions in the stocks they talk about. Do not buy anything based solely on a tip or recommendation. Please do your own research.